Hi everyone, my name is Melissa and I'm the owner of Melissa Forziat Events and Marketing. And today I wanted to share with you a marketing tip of the week called Don't Post and Run. Before I get into the content, I just wanted to give you some information why I chose to talk about this week. So when it comes to social media marketing, a lot of times people are posting a ton because we're getting the information that we should be doing that, but we're not focusing as much on engagement. And I believe that engagement is what is going to drive your reach. It's what's going to drive your conversions. It's the most important thing that you can do on social media. And yet, when we post and walk away from those posts, we're preventing ourselves from getting all that juicy interaction that's really going to let our businesses shine. So today I'll tell you all about why you shouldn't post and run. And if you wanted to read this tip in full, I'm including a link in the description, but I'm also going to just read it here if you want to see this in a video. So don't post and run. When it comes to the do's and don'ts of social media, this marketing tip of the week is not just advice, it's a PSA. If you post and run on social media, it's time to stop. Yes, you. Whether you are from a Fortune 500 company with all the advertising dollars in the world, maybe you're a micro business or a nonprofit, this is for you. If you don't have all day to be on social media, this is still for you. Stick with me and I'll explain why you aren't doing yourself any favors when you post and run. Social media is called social media for a reason. It's intended to be a forum for people to connect, to be social. It sounds obvious, so why do so many of us run away from our conversations? What if you went to a networking event and every time you said hello to someone, you told them something witty and immediately walked away from them? What if you just left them with those poignant thoughts you dropped and didn't even wait for their reaction? How weird would that be? You'd leave the event with a reputation, but probably not a good one. All those untended conversations you start and run away from actually count against your business, not for it. The conversations you leave hanging are missed opportunities. You could have built a stronger relationship. You could have made someone feel loyal to you. You might have been able to convert them on the spot. When it comes to marketing on social media, it's more efficient for us to squeeze every last drop out of the conversations and the relationships we're building. Instead of hustling to generate 10 posts a day for 5 different platforms and then run away from every promising discussion you could have created, what if you just created a few posts on a couple of platforms and nurtured them? Would you really be spending that much more time? In my own experience, there have been many times that I went over to someone else's page and engaged with them, or replied to a comment they made on my own page with a genuine response, and immediately received a notification that they had just downloaded my free marketing ebook. The more times I saw this happen, the more I realized how much people value when you listen to them. How does it feel when you are with someone who constantly talks about themselves and their ideas and never listens to you? Just because you can't see the people you're talking to on social media doesn't mean the scenario is any different from that. Your audience wants to be heard as much as you do. Unfortunately, I think the big companies out there are just as much a culprit of this as small businesses. Those who are pouring money into their advertising budget might generate a lot of reach from their page, and I think it misleads them into thinking that they've maxed out the ROI from their posts. When I see companies that have a ton of comments on their posts and never bothered to respond, it kind of hurts me. All of those missed responses are missed opportunities. With one simple, on-brand, on-tone response, you could hook that customer for life and make them value you over your competitors. What if these companies diverted just a little bit of that advertising budget to a human who could give those on-brand responses? The power they would have over their audience, commitment they would get back. When I speak to businesses about social media, I inevitably get someone who asks me my thoughts about my favorite scheduler. And I tell them that it's a trick question. There are circumstances when we need to lean on a scheduler to stay consistent if we might otherwise have been unable to post. 9 times out of 10, this question was asked because that person wants to know how to start conversations and then walk away. So please remember this PSA. Share it with a friend who needs it. We all want to be heard on social media, not ignored. When you post and run, you make your audience feel ignored, which is probably counterproductive for your brand. If you liked what I said here, go over to my social media and start a conversation with me. I'd love to hear from you, and I will get back to you because I care what you say, and I want you to know it. So I hope this gave you some things to think about. I'd love to know your thoughts. Feel free to drop a comment and let me know. And if you wanted to read this in full, there's a link in the description and you can just go back to my website and read it with a little bit more depth. Good luck and happy marketing.